my god, I really need a haircut. But what kind of artist would I be if I didn't let myself go? Even if it's just a little bit. What are you doing here? Let's cue the intro. These are some of the most creative cover art I've seen in a while, but also they're very simple. So what makes them so unique that they stand out from the rest? And yes, this is part 2 of my Tatsuki Fujimoto manga art study, the cover art section. I just thought that this section deserves its own video. But what's the goal here? The goal of a cover art is to make an overall package that's appealing enough for potential readers to be interested in your story. His cover arts is one of the craziest artwork that I've seen in a while, and I think his work is a good way to slide in other fundamentals that other artists can benefit from, even outside of manga. Particularly color theory, because to me what makes his covers stand out is the way he uses colors. It's very unconventional. I won't get into deep with color theory, but I'll cover a big chunk of it, enough for you guys to hopefully one day discover the rest for yourselves. But don't worry, I'll cover those two on another video on another time, because it's a big topic, guys. There are also timestamps on the video if you just want to skip to other topics. Okay, enough preamble, let's get into the video. We're going to get into color theory, which is a big topic. And later on, we're gonna go into other things like posing, camera angles, as well as photography that can help you support your cover art. Okay, first, I want to cover a few terminologies here. Let's start with the hue. Hue is simply just the name of the color. Red, blue, green, yellow, those are all different hues. You might imagine the color wheel moving around the wheel, changing the hues. This is like your local colors, or the colors that aren't influenced by any values. This is simply the color that exists out there. Okay, next is saturation. Saturation tells us how intense or how muted the color is. A highly saturated color is very vibrant, bold, and grabs your attention. A low saturation color is softer, feels more natural or cinematic. Think of saturation as if it's a volume knob for color. The higher it is, the louder the color feels. Values. Think of this as your black and whites and every single gray in between that. This is what lets the viewer understand the form, the shape that you are painting. Another way to think about this is your light and your shadows. Next, there's brightness. This is really simple. I'm gonna make this really quick. This is just how bright or dark the color is. Something like this. So if you brighten up a red, it becomes a pink. And if you brighten up a blue, it becomes a sky blue. Same goes the other way around. If you darken a green, for example, it becomes dark green. Just remember, it's not the same as saturation. Something can be muted but also dark, and something can be brightened but also very saturated. Those two are not mutually exclusive. Finally, we have warm and cool colors. Warm colors like red, orange, and yellow often feel energetic, passionate, or even inviting because they remind you of fire and sunlight, for example, or the warm weather in summer. Colors like blue, green, and purple tend to feel more calm, mysterious, or even lonely in some cases. Okay, just a quick plug, the chapter 1 of my manga is now out in Manga Plus. The link will be in the description down below. Like it and leave a comment for me to read. It helps me promote the manga. I greatly appreciate it, and on to the video. Let's talk about Power's cover art. Her cover art consists of these three main colors and this accent color over here. There's also this dark red to balance everything out. If you take a look at the color wheel, the red and the blue here are just 3 colors apart from each other. Fujimoto is really just playing around the saturation and the brightness of the colors. So this pink over here is really just red but brightened up, and the teal is pretty much the same. This is just blue-green but also lightened up. And if we increase the brightness and the saturation for this dark spot over here, we really just get red. Alright, so now that's out of the way, let's get into color harmony. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the color harmony here. I'm just going to get into a few of the things that Fujimoto likes to use. So, how do we choose the correct color to match? Let's start with the first color harmony, analogous. Analogous color harmony is just when you use colors that are right next to each other. Like this orange and yellow for this cover art for the Chainsaw Devil. Complementary colors are when you use 2 colors of the opposite side of the color wheel, like blue and orange, or green and red. These color combinations create the strongest contrast possible. But you know what? Sometimes they can be too strong. And that's where split complementary comes in. Instead of using the direct opposite color, you use 2 colors besides it. Imagine your main color is blue, for example. The complementary color is orange. But instead of directly using orange, you instead use the 2 colors besides that. So it should be yellow-orange and then red-orange. That's split complementary. I could actually only find one cover art that uses this. he isn't just doing this at random too. I mean, at a glance, it looks like he just pieced whatever color looks nice, but there are also balance to it. Let's go back to this cover art of Power. The most dominant color here is the pink, of course. It's everywhere, from her scythe, which is normally red, to even the color of her skin and shirt, which is normally white. Then the secondary color is this vibrant blue on her jacket. There isn't much of it, but enough to grab your attention. Next is the accent. It's this red over here. Accents usually are used in a limited amount. In this case, it's only used for her horns. When you're coloring something, just remember this rule. The primary color takes around 70% of the space, the secondary color takes around 20%, and lastly, this accent only takes about 10%. There are of course more advanced combinations than this where you use more than 3 colors. But for now, just remember this as your foundation, and try to branch out later on and explore more color combination as you progress through your art journey. Okay, I know that was a big topic, right? And if you're with me so far, a quick like and subscribe will help me go a long way on my YouTube journey. So, what are the other things that I need to worry about for my cover art? First, you must be able to tell a singular story on your cover. Who or what the story is all about. For example, Tatsuki Fujimoto uses this central character as the centerpiece for what or who the volume is all about, and creates this amazing profile shot. It's almost like they're posing for a fashion show. And on these volumes, the story is more action-driven, and therefore the cover art is also reflecting that. According to Hirohiko Araki, the author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, in his book, Manga in Theory and Practice, your cover art should also drive through the emotion of what you want the reader to feel. Whether it's a tragedy or an adventure, or even a mystery, the overall package must, at a glance, tell your viewer what the overall story is all about without any context. When painting my first ever cover art, I was actually struggling with this quite a lot. I could not decide what to do or how to pose my characters. I had to look up cover art from more successful mangas just to see what works. But over time, with a proper guide and practice, I was able to figure it out. I think, right? And that's really the next thing, how to pose your characters. And in my opinion, I always pose my characters according to their personality and who they are, and in conjunction with what the story is about in that volume. My main character, Hikari, I always pose her in some sort of crazy smile with a sassy pose, because that's what she's all about. And I think Fujimoto also does this with his characters too. The War Devil, for example, is more calm and calculating, so her demeanor is drawn as such. Power is more out there, crazy, and absolutely insane, and so her action and her pose are all expressing that too. Very exaggerated. Like I said before, these poses are like photo shoots. And speaking of which, you must be able to think like a photographer. Experiment with close-ups, wide shots, full body poses, and many more. Angles can change the meaning of the art completely. A low camera angle can make your character feel more powerful, while a close-up can make you feel more emotion. Anyways guys, that's it for me. Tune in next time when I actually try to draw a cover art using everything that we've learned so far, and it actually resulted in one of the best cover art that I've done in my art career. But like always, if you find this video informative, please hit a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And as always, bye-bye you!